Lira emphasizes the need for balance in the discussion of fake news and democracy. During an event in Rio de Janeiro on Monday morning, March 13, the president of the Chamber of Deputies, Arthur Lira, PPAL, used the word balance to discuss the relationship between freedom of expression, social media, and democracy. The topic gained renewed attention in the chamber last week when Deputy Nicolas Ferreira, PLMG, made a transphobic speech, wearing a wig and claiming that some men feel like women. The Brazilian society expects that the administrators, elected representatives, and magistrates of this country can find a way to balance the phenomenon of social media, democracy, and freedom of expression as soon as possible, so that we can move forward with political stability and social and economic progress that results from it, said Lira. Lira added that, finding this balance is not a utopia, it is a necessity. With this statement, the Chamber's president signals support for the Bill 3620/2020, PL 3620/2020, which was approved by the Senate in 2022 but has been stalled in the chamber due to the government coalition at the time aligning to block the agenda with the parties that comprise it. Lira even put the urgency request to a vote, aiming to bring the proposal directly to the plenary for voting, but the document did not receive the necessary votes to pass. It is expected that the PL will be debated again in the coming months, but since the Lula government has other priorities in Congress, especially the tax reform, there is still no date for when the resumption will happen. In another front, Federal Deputy Orlando Silva, PCDOBSP, who is the rapporteur of the bill dealing with combating fake news, is working with the Secretariat of Institutional Relations, SRI, to produce a text that will be endorsed by the government, to avoid obstacles when the project is resumed in the chamber. The event's theme is Freedom of Expression, Social Media, and Democracy, organized by the Center for Innovation, Administration, and Research of the Judiciary of the Getulio Vargas Foundation, FGV, Global Network, and the Brazilian Institute of Education, Development, and Research, IDP. Trans in the Chamber. For the first time, the chamber gained trans representation, electing Erica Hilton, Sol SP, and Duda Solibert, PSDMG, last year. Both took office this year. Women are losing space to men who feel like women, said Nicolas, who is now facing disciplinary action by the Brazilian Chamber of Deputies Ethics and Parliamentary Decorum Council, Coetica, a criminal complaint filed with the Supreme Federal Court, STF, and an investigation request for the alleged crime, to be dispatched with Lira, as it is already in the legal sector of the House. Daniel Silveira is the president. The milestone of the rediscussion about parliamentary immunity occurred with the trial of former federal deputy Daniel Silveira, convicted last year by the Supreme Federal Court, STF, in 2022, by 9 votes to 2, for making insults against STF ministers, spreading fake news, and inciting violence. Silveira, who was even benefited from a pardon by his ally, former President Jair Bolsonaro, PL, has been imprisoned since the beginning of this year after repeatedly violating a court order. Daniel Silveira's name was also mentioned in attempts to question last year's election results, which gave victory to President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, PT, and the defeat of Bolsonaro.